Hey Alvita, it's Heather. I just wanted to take a minute to respond to your discussion board because I really enjoyed reading it. Okay, so as a mental health professional, I see a lot of blended families. So I kind of specialize in family therapy. And so like ultimately, of course, I see people going through a divorce, but I see a lot of people who are remarried and have married somebody with a kid, or, you know, somebody with kids has married somebody either with kids or without kids. I find it really interesting, you know, like, of course, as we know, the divorce rate is high, but blended families, like you said, it's defined as two people with children from a previous relationship joining together. I find it interesting how many people, of course, get divorced, but then they marry somebody who's also divorced and they have kids. You're talking, I've seen families, one person has 2 children, one person has 3, one person maybe has 1, the other person has 1, 3, 4. It's amazing how many kids, kind of combine in a blended family. And so top things that I tell them to work on really is not only one-on-one time with each kid, but like really talking to them about how to combine families. I see a lot of sibling sets and kiddos who are combining families. And so really, I know here in Dallas, a lot of churches have picked up a program called Blended. And so I don't know where you're located, but it's definitely something maybe you can look and see if it's in your area to offer people, because I highly, highly recommend it. The best way that I can describe blended families to people too is, especially when it comes to quote unquote the step parent, right? As we know, Cinderella teaches us that like step parents are not good, right? They're going to make us into people who clean the house kind of thing. And so ultimately I have seen kids who were like, oh yeah, I'm going to have to do that. And I'm like, no, like we're not all like Cinderella. Like we don't have to do that. Ultimately, it's another person that God put in your life to love you and support you. And so sometimes I don't even use the word step parent. They just call them by their first name, right? Or they call them, mom married him, or like dad married her. Like you just call them by their name, versus saying step parent too, because there's a lot of reading material on it too, right? As we know. So I loved everything that you had to say. You're right. They're not quickly put together. Really, the therapist's job is to work on the entire family unit, together in blending and bonding. And so I really think that that's important to remember in those sessions, is how to define family, right? Especially a blended family. It's just more people to love you, more people to support you. So I enjoyed reading it. Just wanted to let you know. Have a good week.